House of Barbers right there on Route 9, 845-232-5036. House of Barbers.
It's finally TV, but you don't need cable or sling to see me. Black on his soapbox, Gabe in his bag. Let out some real black ink, load the 9 with the mag. First take, the last take, we can juggle the top. Like a barber with the clips, the way we talk in the shop. And since life is like a movie, we gon' stick to the plot. That's why we sponsored by the brand and scrape the white off the top. Get it? That means we dope. So I'm money my brothers and sisters to stay woke. And we gon' lace the product with facts and straight jokes. The voice of the valley is here to spread hope. Supports a steep slope. They gon' have to let me cook. I don't know how to stop. From the culture to the music, anything else hot. Catch us every Tuesday once you step in the house. Cause all they really wanna know, what we talking about. I'm out.
Oh, and here we go. Another episode of What We Talking About. Here we are, party people, once again, back with it, the What We Talking About podcast, every Tuesday, 7 p.m., right here on Finally TV. You will find myself and the one and only King Blackout, bringing you the latest and greatest takes on what's going on in this crazy world. And as I had aforementioned, I'm joined by co-host and co-creator of the show, King Blackout. How you doing, sir?
Sean Pop Combs.
You want a little nut with your cake, huh?
He asked me, what did I call my grandfather? And I told him, Pop.
Mm.
He said, okay, call me Sean Pop Combs. And she did for 10 years.
Willingly.
What's up, Gabe?
Yo, what's going on with you? I hope everything's good.
I mean,
hope you're not recording nothing,
Yeah.
Hope
You know what I'm
nobody's got
saying?
any testimony or nothing. Like, you good?
Sean Pop Combs. Yeah.
Man, it's going down, ain't it? It has started. If you didn't know and you're living under a rock, they selected the jury over the past, 10 days, 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And they got it down to the 12. They got their 6 alternates.
8 men, 4 women.
Is that what it boiled down to? Okay. Yep. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. You already know what it is. I just need you to hit that like and share one time for your boy. Because, every time they know what you watching, we get more watchers. I don't know what it is about y'all, but y'all got the juice. You heard me? Listen, man. So the trial has commenced. It has started. And they jump right into this, man. Jump right in. Immediately off the rip. Prosecution starts laying out their story. Yo, they make Diddy. The first person they bring up is R. Kelly.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
R. Kelly.
Yes, the first person they bring up is R. Kelly.
All right.
And they painted the picture. They talked about, the golden shower situation. If y'all are not familiar with golden showers, let's look it up right quick. I don't feel like saying it right now. But listen.
Yeah.
Listen. The male stripper that was on the stand yesterday had some interesting things to say.
Sure. Interesting. Yeah.
I don't think he said anything that was groundbreaking as far as information that we might have had. Maybe a couple of things. I think at one point they tried to allude to the fact that, there were willing participants at these things, right? He was kind of painting the picture we were all in this, Today, though.
Yeah.
Today, the ex gets on the stand. Cassie.
Yeah, she did that. She understand. Still being she's not even crossed yet. She's still being asked questions about the prosecution for like the last 4 hours. So tomorrow they're gonna resume questioning. So
Wow.
haven't even started cross yet.
Wow. You know, all in all, doing a little for those that don't know, you know, I know everybody talks about the case and Diddy, you know, there's actually 5 counts being brought against him right now. You know, it's racketeering is one of them.
Gang shit, gang shit.
The other side is what's that when you travel with the bitches and all that for
But
prostitution?
trafficking?
Yeah, sex trafficking,
Yep.
right? And I forget what the other one was. There's another one, but there's 2 counts of each of those,
Okay.
and then the racketeering. The racketeering one is the one that carries that life sentence. The other 4 counts can be 15 apiece, right? Up to 15 years. I think 10 to 15 is the range for those ones.
Basically, they saying basically these charges, if we remove them from Diddy and Cassie,
Mm-hmm,
this is like if somebody was like smuggling young girls from China,
mm-hmm,
bringing them to the country, and they
mm-hmm.
had a whole LLC set up to
Right,
fund it. That's
right,
what they're saying Diddy did with Bad Boy Records,
right,
except it's with his girlfriend, Cassie.
right. And like it's interesting though, because like didn't like for me, I got the impression that you know during the last year and a half of this whole fiasco that it's not just like Cassie though, right? Like the freak offs wasn't just the Cassie show. I was under the impression that there was multiple women that were getting dealt with this shit. Is that not the case?
I have no idea. That's why they doing the trial right now.
Mm,
That's not what's been coming out. People been saying that he did inappropriate things with him, but nobody said that they got invited to the freak off and got taken advantage of. This is just random sexual assault cases, lawsuits against them.
right, right. Okay, okay. So now that we got what it is, right? So Diddy's
Yeah,
on
yeah,
trial. It
yeah,
started
yeah.
yesterday. Mail
And they
stripping
already on that
yesterday.
Cassie shit.
Yeah, and they brought her quick. They were like, "Yo,
Quick.
get this girl up here right now. Let's talk
Mhm.
about it."
Pregnant as hell, by the way.
That's right.
She big
And
as a
something
house.
about what's up with the whole thing where they said that they don't want her husband in the courtroom. You seen some bullshit like that?
Because they're gonna call him as a witness,
Mm,
which means that some of his testimony could conflict with hers. And if he gets to hear what she's saying in real time, then he can just respond like the way that she would. So what they're doing right
uh,
now is that until Cassie's done with her testimony, she's not even with him. She's like put up somewhere
got you,
so that she can't be
got you.
contaminated by her husband.
Oh, okay. So that was lost on me. I couldn't figure out why. Okay. So now this is where I need you, bro. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not up to speed as far as what Cassie been saying. So school us and let us know what you found out at least. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to all the like the media feeds and everything that's feeding the
Yeah.
information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about who I've been following
Uh,
and getting my stories from, but
uh,
from directly in the courtroom, there's a lot of different people live tweeting, live talking, doing
right,
blogs, all type of
right.
shit. So you can get information. It
Hmm.
is public stuff, so you
Yeah,
you have a right to know this stuff that's going on
yeah,
in the trial.
yeah.
Here's a long and short. I'm gonna boil it down, and then we could pick apart pieces if you want to.
All right, let's do it.
What we've heard so far essentially is this. I signed to Diddy when I was 20. When I turned 21, shortly thereafter, he gave me my first kiss. I was fanned out. I wanted to be with him. We were good and happy for like 6 months. And then he broached the topic of um, freak offs, or not even freak offs. He broached the topic of voyeurism and how that was one of his kinks. She felt like, as somebody who wanted to please him, that she would participate in this kink of
Hmm.
his that he wanted.
Hmm.
So she did that. Um, I'm gonna combine some of the stuff, but I'll be clear when I combine it. Apparently, they were going to Craigslist and Backpage to find male escorts. They would dress up. Diddy and her would dress up to try to obfuscate their identities, though it was very obvious once the escorts got there who they were dealing with. Um, and basically, she would hand them a bunch of money. Cassie would
Hmm.
hand them a bunch of money.
Hmm.
They would get. Sean Combs was always in the room.
Hmm.
He would watch, and apparently, the way it's described by Cassie, is that he would do things like say put on more baby oil or slow down or go faster. But besides that, it actually wasn't him directing what they were doing sexually. It was her and the escort were choosing on their own. So imagine like a regular sexual encounter that people are having. Diddy just happens to be there, like interrupting, saying, "Yo, put on more baby oil."
Right, right.
Yo, I'm just this is what she testified. So
I
like,
know.
it ain't even my point of view.
I know.
After the first time she did it, she said she felt kind of nasty, kind of icky, but she wanted to make him happy. So from there on out, she decided that she had to be under the influence to do this shit.
Mm,
He started giving her Molly, GHB, date rape drugs, mushrooms, all
yikes.
type of shit to have them lit. He would get lit. They would meet somewhere, and then they would call the escort in, and the escort would like have sex with her for a while. Diddy would watch. He would get off, and then he would interject and say, "I want some too," and then he would go for a turn. Um, Over time, she says this turned into like a freak off weekend, a kinky night, to literally every single week.
Mm,
So she said every week for a decade, every week she had to have freak offs. That's why she wasn't releasing music. And basically, she was having sex and doing nasty shit with men.
for
And then
520 weeks.
yeah, and then she would spend the next few days recovering because she would be high out of her mind and have marathon sex for days sometimes because she's under the influence.
Mm,
And then she would recover. And between the sex and him beating on her to keep her complicit, she would go somewhere for a couple of days, recover, and then the next weekend she'd be doing it again. So she's basically saying she can't remember how many people she's been with. There were repeat people, but typically it was an escort. They brought him in, they vetted them. Did he threaten them? Take pictures of their ID, all type of shit. They both took drugs. He would watch. They would pee on her, come on her. I mean, you name it, they was doing it.
mm,
And it gets weird because some of the testimony is her without even being asked a question saying, it was times when people come in and wouldn't do it right, so I would tell them how to do it. And then
mm.
the lawyer would be like, "What?" And she'd be like, "Well, because I know how Sean liked it." And it's like, nah, like, pee on me like this, or do it like this, or rub me like this, or grab me like. So she's giving direction to the guy who's supposed to be paid to abuse her. It's, I'm gonna leave that alone. We can talk about it.
Yeah, that
So
part.
that was the gist. There's a whole lot of freaky shit, but none of the freaky shit. I'm not. I don't want to talk about. I'm not. This is not my opinion. I'm talking about what she said so far.
Mm.
None of the things that she said outside of the part where I don't want to do that either. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. One thing that the prosecutor asked her was, "Why did you keep doing it if you
Mhm.
didn't want to?" And she said, "Because I wanted to make him happy, and this is key to me. Plus, I didn't want him to just find somebody else who would and replace me. I wanted to be with him, so I
Mm,
kept doing it."
mm.
And that, to me, that one
Sen-
sentence
right,
damns everything else. I'm not saying, once again,
right,
that it means it's okay to hit her, because
right,
apparently all that shit happened. I'm
right.
not saying it's okay to, I don't know, be complicit in drugging her up because she wanted to be drugged to be able to deal with this.
Dragging her through hotel
Sure, all
hallways.
that shit is
Right,
not cool.
right.
But when somebody says, "I did a lot of depraved shit for this man,
Mm-hmm,
but I did it willingly, but also unwillingly,"
mm-hmm.
you can't say it in front of the court. Why do you keep going back? You said, "Because I loved him and I didn't want him to replace me with somebody else."
Mm,
That sounds like somebody, whether it's a freaky relationship or not, who's choosing every single week to go back and do nasty stuff with Sean. By the way, the prosecutor, once again, this is the person who's trying to make the case. The people who are asking Cassie to testify was asking some questions, and Cassie was giving some fucked up answers to their case.
mm,
He was also sharing like emails and text messages between Cassie and Sean. And there were times when like she would hit him up and say, "I need to fuck." And then Diddy would set up the freak off.
mm-hmm,
She would initiate.
mm-hmm.
There have been times when she also went and found her own escorts and brought them to places. And she says it was to surprise Sean. I don't know how you're a victim if you're choosing to set up your own freak offs and then saying, "Hey, babe, come in the room and watch me have sex with a man." So, like, I'm not sure. To me, it's damning.
Mm.
because none of the nastiest, freakiest shit you can do sexually is a crime that you can charge somebody with. And whether you think that physically abusing somebody, not that you think, we
Right.
know that physically abusing somebody is wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not charged with domestic battery. He's charged with racketeering and international sex. I mean, I'm sorry, interstate sex trafficking and
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy to commit those things under the guise of bad boy records. And I'm sorry, a person saying I kept doing these things because I wanted to make this man happy, and I set him up myself to make him happy. And while I didn't want to be peed on, I was there and giving instructions to get peed on because I knew Sean would like it. That sounds like a young girl who knows her man who was kiki and freaky and did nasty shit to make him happy. That's exactly what it sounds like, and that's the case the prosecution is making.
Right, right. So from the defense side, I'm gonna say like, doesn't that kind of speak to at some point Diddy and that whole situation really, really crossed the line into somewhere else that was so bad that she felt the need to blow it all up if she was such a willing participant for so long?
You're
Like,
asking me if what's where we are means that he did something really bad to her.
yeah.
I don't think it means that. Quite frankly, her testimony doesn't show that. It
Mm-hmm.
actually shows somebody for whatever reason. Probably a lot of it has to do with her age,
Yeah.
right? Having being in front of Diddy, getting signed at 20, and at 21, this man basically her own testimony taught her what oral sex was,
Mm-hmm.
taught her what drug use was about, gave her a lifestyle, paid for cars, gave her money, paid for her home, like basically took care of her. And there's a 17-year age difference here. So he's 37, 38, and she's 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
She was a kid
Mm-hmm.
in all intents and purposes.
Right.
So she wanted to please this man and did all this wicked shit. Now her self-esteem might have been
Low.
in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you probably get tired of having random escorts do nasty shit to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure at some point, you I'm 29, 30, like, yo, I'm sick of this. And you get the courage to get up out of there, to walk away from the relationship. I'm saying it like she was being held hostage and she wasn't. To leave that relationship. To me, that doesn't mean that Sean did anything that he wasn't doing the other 10 years. I don't think this magical thing popped up that was like, that's enough. I
What
think
up,
it
Todd?
was, from what her testimony said,
Mhm.
she kept bringing up things to him, even though she knew the whole time that they weren't monogamous.
Yep.
She said it in the testimony that he had other women, and she dated other men.
Mm-hmm.
They just did it behind closed doors, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it kept coming back to, for me, is that she didn't want to lose him. So maybe whatever the catalyst might have been, maybe it was a night at the hotel in the lobby. Maybe that's what did it. I don't fucking know, but I don't think it was this magical thing. Because after 10 years, bro, he don't did everything he can do, and he don't had you doing everything you could possibly do. What would he have done that would have been so egregious to make that change? We seen black eyes, broken bones. You was already getting, you know what I mean, sexually, whatever you want to call it, like the nastiest, foulest stuff you can do in year one.
Right.
Anal, drugging, escorts, peed on, drinking urine, you're rubbing cum on different people. Like, you was already doing the worst shit in the first year. So what level of escalation is left when you've already been doing everything from day one?
You never know, bro.
I
You never
guess,
know.
bro. But like,
I mean,
I'm not gonna read and add things to the conversation
mhm.
that didn't come out in court. So like, she didn't say there was a catalyst. She just said she was done. That's what she said in the testimony so far.
Got you. Gotcha. I wonder what the timing is too. Like that footage that they have that went famous and viral already.
2017.
It was 20. So is that marks towards the beginning of everything?
That's the end of everything.
That's the end. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So it was 8 years, or not really 8, like 6 or almost 7 years later before she decided to come out with all this. That's basically what happened.
I mean, yeah, they separated in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm trying to think of the timeline.
Did they want to write a book or something? They wanted to do something initially.
Right.
And he wanted to suppress it, and then she asked for money.
Right.
He said no, and then that's how this all came out.
Right. That whole shit. Yep. So, Damn it, yo, listen. From her point of view, it's like, she's been getting a lot of sympathy and empathy, obviously, because of like the way the story has been construed up till like today, basically. Because this is really eye opening to me to hear it, and it forces me though to try to think of the other side, and where like. Because, like, in a way, isn't she kind of implicating herself? Like, is she going to end up with charges? You know what I'm saying?
There is no crime. I mean,
the trafficking crime, though.
You can't traffic yourself.
But she talked about going and getting the escorts, though.
No. She said she went on Craigslist and Backpage and invited escorts to come. They didn't go get them. They just came to the hotel rooms.
Yeah,
there's none of this shit is a crime. It's nasty. I'm not talking when I say that. I'm not talking about the physical assault shit that he's not even on trial for. I'm talking about sex trafficking, RICO, racketeering, sexual enterprise on a bad boy. None of the nasty shit they're saying in court is a crime when you willingly do it. Her saying I used cocaine because I didn't want to feel no more.
Right.
I guess would be a crime, possessing the cocaine, but there's no possessive cocaine charge. You feel me? So, like, nothing she said outside of he beat me is a crime, and he's not on trial for beating her. So what are we doing here?
Cassie, you little nasty girl, bro.
See, like I said, I think he found a young girl, a beautiful young girl. He turned her out because she wanted to be was fanned out. Her own admission. I was doing whatever I could to keep him happy.
Right.
I was young. He introduced me a lot of shit, had a lifestyle. I get it. No, I didn't really want to do these things.
Yeah.
But her own words, I did them to make him happy.
Right.
And then she's saying over time it changed, and I did them so he wouldn't get mad. Because if he got mad, that he would hit me. And I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm saying then put him on trial for domestic abuse. Because all this nasty shit you're trying to paint him as don't matter legally. Whether the man drunk ejaculate doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Right. And that's why I brought up why I wanted to set the stage by saying what the charges are. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you say that, it speaks to that point is that he's not on trial for being nasty. He's not even on trial for beating her up.
He's not. And that's what people keep talking about. Like Shad just said it too, I think. He said the backstory to the tape is the case. Kinda, but not really. Because that tape only shows assault. And if you're trying to say that somebody beat you into submission and made you do nasty stuff, that's the sex trafficking part. That would be true. Except for the fact that she said out her own mouth, I did this stuff willingly because I didn't want him to leave me. That's your entire case. And you can't mix in the gray. You can't say one day I wanted it, the next day I didn't, but the day afterwards I told him come fuck me. Like you can't waffle back and forth and have plausible deniability. And in her testimony, she waffled. She felt this way today. She didn't feel this way next week. She felt that way again a month later. Like she's back and forth, and I understand why, because he groomed the fuck out of her. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying I don't understand it. I'm saying in a court of law, you can't have it both ways. You can't on a dime say, I'm now the victim. And then tomorrow, I'm not a victim anymore. I chose to go back because I didn't want him to leave me. Then the next day, but I only stayed because he beat me. What? What
are we doing here is the question at that point.
Or he forced me to have sex and did that in the third, and then you got people testifying that he didn't even tell you what to do when you was getting freaky in front of him. You was telling a nigga. I think Sean would like think of it like this, bro. This is your girlfriend. I think my man would like to see you do this to me. PM me like this, do it like this, pull my hair like this. Once again, I'm not saying the drugs had no part. I'm saying that you asked for the drugs. Like you said it. I wanted to be high so I could perform for this man and not make him mad.
So here goes Shad. Nah, it shows him not letting her leave. Dragging her shows he won't let her leave. What are we missing here?
That is not the other 10 years and one day. Like what we talking about? That him dragging her in the hallway shows that day only they had a physical altercation. Mind you, she actually left 5 minutes later. That doesn't show her not being able to leave. It shows them getting into an argument domestically, right? And then she actually left 5 minutes later by both of their testimonies. And the person who drove her away. And the security guard from the hotel, who they already deposed, said the same thing. Then she left.
Right. He
didn't stop her. And then she came back to him. So like she wasn't locked up in a dungeon. She wasn't hidden for 10 years, bro. So like this narrative people are trying to conflate. We talking about law. We're not talking about your feelings about this shit. We talking about law. That doesn't make sense. You being chained up in a room, right? Or you being married to somebody, and I mean literally, you don't go outside, you don't do nothing because they beating your ass every single day, right? That's different than this famous person choosing to do depraved shit, choosing to stay with a person in a relationship because I want to make him happy. That's not the same thing as if I don't make him happy, he gonna kill me. That's not the same.
Yeah. What a difficult job for these jurors, bro, to separate the morality of it all and the legality of it all, right? That is gonna be tough, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like they're gonna hear some stuff and like I can't imagine, you know, all of them swaying to the way the prosecution wants it to I mean the way the defense wants it to look like. I don't know, man. That's a really tough spot because like I keep saying, the charges aren't for beating her up.
Nope.
There's not even like, I mean, I guess the sex trafficking kind of speaks to it a little bit, but there's not like rape charges in there.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what he's on trial for.
And people got to get that. He's not on trial for rape, sexual assault, or physically assaulting her. Right. It's for conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, and basically racketeering. Basically, I use my company to be able to do sex trafficking. I'm sorry, bro, but going on the back page and telling niggas to meet you at the telly ain't sex trafficking.
Yeah.
You flying your girlfriend, cat. Once again, people keep conflating the things. A public relationship that everybody knew about between him and Cassie. Flying your girl from Cali to New York so that she can sleep with an escort ain't sex trafficking. Y'all trying to make it make sense, and it don't make any sense because they were in a relationship. It might have been fucked up. It might have been nasty, but that is the law. There is nothing hidden there, bro. So like, nah, this ain't it, gang. Especially the fact where she's saying that she paid for the escorts. Not only that, she also set up freak offs by herself without his input to surprise him. Does that sound better to you?
Well, we know that money's his money that she's using.
Okay, sure. But Gabe, when you say I came into town and I set up a freak off, I went and found an escort and then brought Sean to the hotel room so I could surprise him. Is that you being sex trafficked? Or is that you trying to share a kink with somebody? Matter of fact,
that way, yeah.
Line of testimony. After the first interaction, the prosecutor asked her, "What did you think?" And she said, "I wanted to honor that this man shared something so intimate with him, and I wanted to honor what he shared, meaning his kink and his fetishes." That's what she was saying. Right. I wanted to honor it and respect it because he was vulnerable with me. So I wanted to do these things for him.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know how the prosecution, like, you know, because they coach these people before they go on. So it's like, so Shad's here saying under oath, she said they just finished a freak off. I guess this is on the tape, right? This is the story behind the tape. They just finished a freak off. She said she didn't want to do it and left. And then we see the tape. Is sex trafficking is not letting her leave? No.
No, it's not sex trafficking at all.
That doesn't define sex trafficking, just that part of it. But
exactly,
the rest of it,
and you skipped the part where she went into the hotel consensually. She consented to the escort. She gave that escort that night directions on how to make love to her. Sean Combs was not involved in it physically. He just watched. You skipped all that part. And when the security got there, the guy in the hotel room the escort was still there. Security saw him. No one said anything to him because she didn't have a problem with him. Security asked her, he did something to you? Nope. So like that, her wanting to leave and Sean hitting her by itself is a crime.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with sex trafficking. What happened in that room, consensual. Her leaving and not really wanting to do it on the inside, her personal feelings, then don't fucking do it. But Diddy didn't drag her to the hotel. He didn't kidnap her, put her in the car, take her to the hotel, drag her upstairs, tie her up in the room, and have niggas come through and run down on her. She was in there willingly, got high willingly, had intercourse willingly, right? And then said, I don't want to do this no more, and try to leave. Right. And then he hit her, and that's what the charge should be.
But that right there is Shad's point. Is like she can't say no at the point wherever she feels like saying no.
What
Like I would think that you
but you
have that
talking
right.
sexual, bro. She didn't say no during the sex. I hear
She
what you're
said
saying, bro, but she's not
right,
saying no during the sex. She's saying
right.
no in the hallway after it was
She
already done.
but well, to get to the hallway, she's saying, "All right, I'm out. I don't want to do this." So she's
Anymore.
saying no, yeah, anymore. So
Yeah,
I'm
she was
leaving,
correct.
and he wasn't having it. So that in itself, like now you're unlawful detainment and you're assault and battery.
That's what it should have been, correct.
Right,
But it
right,
had nothing to do with sex.
right.
You choosing not to have sex with the person no more and
Mhm,
then leaving
mhm.
didn't mean that the sex was a crime. What we missing here?
If she say no at any time, isn't it wrong?
No, because we're not talking. She didn't say no during sex. I don't care how you try to slice this. She didn't say no to the sex. So no, that's not a crime. It's
Mm,
not no mean no because she don't want to be here. Him holding her against her will, as an example, in a hotel, assault and battery and kidnapping.
mhm,
She did not say no to the sex. She participated in the sex willingly.
right.
And then
So
when it was over, she just wanted to leave the hotel. That's her testimony.
just to be clear, just in case somebody just popped in right now, you know what I'm saying? Like
We talking Diddy,
we're,
talking Diddy.
we're talking, but we're talking the perspective of the actual charges that have been brought against Diddy that
Correct.
he's dealing with right now versus what the popular consensus is as to why he's on trial. And I think that's important because I'll repeat, Diddy is not on trial for rape. He's not on
Nope.
trial for assault and battery, for
Nope.
domestic violence,
Nope.
none of those things, kidnapping. He's not on for none of those things right now. It's all the major one that holds a life sentence is the racketeering one.
Trying to prove that Bad Boy Records was literally an organization that was
Right,
funding, lavishing, and promoting and allowing
right,
Diddy to sex traffic women.
right. And then the other one is the sex trafficking, and I really want to go get the other one. What
It's like conspiracy to commit. It's just bullshit. It's the
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get
yeah.
it, just so we're right.
Look it up. Look it up.
So racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force,
Yeah.
fraud, or coercion. He has 2
Correct.
counts of that. And then transportation to engage in prostitution. That's the one I couldn't remember because it's so similar to trafficking, but transportation to engage in prostitution. So
But
there's
they're
hold
taught
up.
that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to read it off. These charges allege that Combs transported individuals, including Ventura and other commercial sex workers, across state lines for the purpose of engaging in prostitution. The maximum sentence for this is 10 years.
Correct. So like that law, as it should be understood, is about taking people
Free Diddy.
against their will
Shout out
to
Rock.
do stuff, right?
Uh,
You the connection they're making. This is what we talk about law. The connection they're making is if you pay for an Uber
mhm,
for a willing participant, that's the part where you traffic somebody,
mhm.
right?
The transportation.
The transportation,
Right.
or you paid for a flight, you traffic them. That's not what that is not the actual intent of the law at all. It's
Mhm,
saying that you took somebody against their will and brought them to a different place
mhm,
and you did sex stuff with them. That was illegal. That was a crime. That you raped them.
mhm,
You can't be a sex trafficker with a willing participant.
mhm,
Once again, flying out an Instagram baddie
mhm,
and doing nasty shit in the hotel ain't a fucking crime because the sex itself ain't a crime.
mhm,
2, Cassie wasn't being paid, and the people, the sex workers, were willing participants. They got paid $4 to $6 grand every encounter, their own admission.
right.
So, do you want to prosecute them for sex work? Because you can't prosecute. Are you going to prosecute Cassie for paying them? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And what they got to do with Diddy?
Right. Rock, you right. That's actually what we're talking about. We're talking about the actual charges that have been brought against Diddy that he's actually on trial for right now. There's 5 counts. So we were just saying, we were trying to clarify that because like, even somebody like me, like before going into it, before it all started, if you would have asked me what the charge was, I would have said, oh, some sort of rape, some sort of sex trafficking, like assault and battery on Cassie. Like these are the things I would have said. But lo and behold, that's not what he's on trial for. He's on trial for racketeering, the whole business thing, and using it to fund stuff. And then transportation for prostitution and sex trafficking by force or otherwise. That's what he's on here for. So, and then you got Cassie up here basically letting him off the hook.
Tell me where the by force part was. So if you go on back page to somebody who's advertising their services, you force them to be on back page and then you force them to show up and take your money. That don't make any sense. And if you sex traffic Cassie, why is she sitting there saying I willingly showed up to do this because I wanted to make him happy? I don't understand the part where someone was forced, except them saying it was years of being beat on that made me complicit.
Mm, that's
But
yeah.
of
It's
sound mind, I made choices to keep doing these things because I wasn't a
Cassie.
prisoner in my home.
Cassie got 30 million. Rock says.
I mean, bruh, I, unless something comes out where that man had people bind you, physically restrain you,
Mm-hmm.
and do fucked up shit to you,
Right.
or bring you somewhere against your will,
Mm-hmm.
this shit ain't a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And the only crime that they're admitting to is physical assault, and that's the one he ain't on trial for.
And that's crazy. Like I don't know how did they skip that. Like they
Because it's
maybe.
domestic. Because they're in a known relationship, it's domestic. So he
Mm-hmm.
would have got 6 months probation. It's domestic.
Got you. Got you. I don't see the crimes here at all. Right. The
Nope.
way the crimes have been brought up. Oh man, listen. I think 6 months ago, if you would have did a consensus or a census and said, "Yo, is Diddy going to jail or not? Is he going to be found guilty?" I think 80% of people would be like, "Hell yeah, he can be found guilty." And now, it's a little different right now. It's a little different right now, and I think we all would have assumed more along the lines of what I was thinking that the charges would have been a little different. I think that was probably like a safe, common assumption.
It's
6 months.
it's because they reach him, bro. Like
Yeah,
if you just charge him with what he did and let him go, then that's it. And if you want to get him for
it was
battery,
covered up. Hmm.
then give him his 6 months to 3 years. Because that's what he did. Battery. All that freak boy shit don't matter in eyes of the law. It's not a crime to be a freak. It's not a crime to be a freak.
You
So
know,
like they overreach. This Rico shit is a big overreach, and you know that, Gabe. Come on, bro. Rico,
it's what's interesting to me is that like Shad just kind of sparked the thought in my head when he said it was covered up. And I at some point or another during this whole thing, I do think something's got covered up. But like I feel, and I know you're not a big conspiracy theorist, Black, but for me, I feel that Diddy, in some way, shape, or form, had upset the somebody in a position of real power. I think, and that's why all the shit started coming out, and like all of a sudden he's uncovered and being made to look this way, and the media was like really on his ass, and that I just think somebody he might have pissed off somebody in a really high position, and now it seems like he might have repented and be like, okay, my bad. And he's like, I didn't know you was that serious. You know what I'm saying? And like now everything kind of comes back to the median, and it doesn't seem so heinous anymore. And there's light at the end of the tunnel for him where he might actually get off. That's the way I think about this stuff.
can I ask why do people go conspiracy when like even the tape and how we got here is now public record? Like, do you know that Cassie had the tape? Cassie had the tape, and that she was blackmailing Diddy. If you don't pay me this money, we'll release this tape,
Mhm.
and then that's when it got released.
I knew
She
that
did it.
she was saying that. I didn't realize she had the tape herself.
She had the tape.
So, but
She had it
wasn't
on the flash drive.
because it was like recovered from the hotel? Like somebody went to go get it from the hotel,
Correct.
right?
Correct. She had the
So,
tape. So like even that part, that's not a conspiracy of like the cabal. That's this scorned woman, whatever her reason may be,
mhm,
saying if you don't give me all these millions, I'm gonna expose you. And he said, "Fuck out of here," and she exposed him.
yeah,
There's no conspiracy there, bro. She released it.
yeah. See this part. They were saying like this Rock saying they said he was raping kids, men, and women.
You're
I
not in
haven't
charge.
heard
You're not in charge for none of that.
none of that.
What we talking about? See that
Is
all that other shit? That's noise, bro. Leave it out of the trial.
is covering up a crime a crime? Yeah,
Yes, if you could prove a crime was committed, sure.
it's true. I mean, I am so curious, Black, to hear the rest of some more of these witnesses and testimony, just to get a better picture. Because you know what I mean. Like, there's his story, their story, her story, and then there's the truth. You know what I mean?
They got one person, bro. It's that Jane Doe lady who they won't give her name.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put it like this: Cassie testimony ain't it. She sound like what she sound like.
Hmm.
She got groomed, but it wasn't illegal. She was an
Hmm.
adult, 21, grown.
Hmm.
He gassed her, he groomed her, he taught her shit, he turned her out, had her doing nasty shit. She felt bad, she didn't like it. She said she loved the man, she didn't want him to do freaky shit with other niggas, so she kept doing it. She said this understand, y'all. So like your opinions, leave him out. She said it understand today. I
Hmm.
didn't want him to leave me. That's not someone who's being held hostage.
That's
I
the
didn't want
point.
him to take somebody else and be with them over me. So I kept doing the nasty shit that he would want. That's
Mhm.
not me being forced or coerced or trafficked. She said it. She also said that when I wanted to pay for my own house, I did that. I let him buy me shit and take care of me. He would
Mhm.
take it away. I didn't like that control. So I got my own bag up and started paying my own bills in
Mhm.
my own house. That's not somebody controlling you.
Mhm.
Those are not the signs of somebody who's in a domestic relationship where they're completely being dominated.
Mhm.
You don't get to go live on your own, pay your own
And
bills,
make your
have
own money.
autonomy,
Nah, yeah.
make your own money, make your own decisions, and then
Right.
choose when you want to freak off, and then choose to go. Like that's not what this fucking is, bro.
Right. Right.
So like the only thing I can hear is Jane Doe,
Mhm.
whoever she might be, when she gives her testimony.
Mhm.
If she say, nah, this nigga found me when I was 17. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Had me in the basement of Cassie crib
Mhm.
and was doing nasty shit to me. If
Mhm.
that ain't what she's saying,
Mhm.
this whole case is bullshit. He coming
Well,
home.
well, Jane Doe's also gonna have to say he found me in Texas or he found me in Oklahoma and brought me to here.
Yes, yes. For the purpose of sex, yes.
That's
And
what
I
he
didn't
was.
want to do the sex stuff. Yes.
She was. If she says that,
And
then yeah,
can prove it. You
he
can't just
going.
you gotta prove it.
It was true, but that
Yeah.
would be a very damning testimony. You know,
If
for
if
these
there's
charges.
if there's any proof, you
Right.
can't just say that he sex
I'm
trafficked
not talking
me.
about the racketeering. I'm talking
Right.
about the sex trafficking and the
I get
transportation.
that.
You know what I
You
mean?
gotta prove it. Show me the flight that he booked.
But that's
Show
hearsay until she gets to.
right. Show me the flight he booked. Show me
Mhm.
where you lived at. Show me the proof of your being in that proximity. Show me proof of the freak off. Show me proof that you did the things you're saying you did. Your
Right,
word ain't enough.
right. They said they wanted 10 million on that tape for Cassie, but he didn't pay. Then they paid her 30 million later. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And she's still snitching. By the way, my
That is
stance,
true.
because y'all know
That is true, though.
how black give it up. I'm simply recounting what I read and what I
Right,
heard from the
right,
questioning in the court today.
right.
This is not my opinion based on my opinion. It's based on what she said in testimony.
Hmm.
So if the person you're saying that got all these things done to her is telling you different, then why the fuck are y'all still saying anything different than what she's saying?
Hmm.
She's saying exactly what it was.
And
There's
why
no
are we here?
confusion.
And why are
Yeah,
we here?
then why are we here?
That's my whole thing. Is why are we here if that's the case? This is a
Because the
different case.
prosecution asked her to testify. This is not Cassie. See, people forgot this part. This ain't Cassie trial. Cassie didn't take him to court.
That's a
This
good
is not the
point.
Cassie case. This is a
That
federal case.
that's a good point. That's a good point because and I think that kind of went over my head too a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It isn't about Cassie. She's
No,
just a material witness type of deal. You
that's
know what I'm
it.
saying? And so if they're trying to paint a picture of him being lewd and explicit and sexually deviant and all that, then fine. That's what I'm saying. I'm really curious to see what the rest of this holds. You know what I'm saying? Because what Rock said before about they were putting a lot of they were putting some evil shit on his jacket, bro,
Well,
like
they
last
better have
year.
proof.
You know what I'm saying? They were putting some evil shit on his jacket. So like I'm real curious to see the rest of it and who these witnesses are and the case they're trying to paint. Because if you just look at it as a microcosm of what was going on with Cassie and him and what they're trying to depict there, it's not. And now all of a sudden, it's not what they were saying. It's more like how you're saying it was read back by from Cassie because it was a relationship. It was
It was a fucked up one, but
of
yeah,
and willing participants. You know what I'm
willing.
saying? Willing participants.
Somebody said I didn't want to do that. It's like regret after sex
Mm-hmm.
ain't a sex crime, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody saying I shouldn't let that nigga hit. You
Oh
don't get to
yeah,
go to court for that.
Right. Well,
The
that's
fuck?
true. That's true. That is true. But like, I hear what, listen, because I'm a man's man and like I just don't stand for any type of shit against a woman, right? It
Sure.
shouldn't be that way. Like I want you to go down. If you've done heinous shit to this girl and she wasn't down with it, I want you to go down. But if she's sitting here telling me, yo, I drove myself there. Yo, I went and picked out the dude. You know what I'm saying?
She picked him out.
It's like that's a little bit different story. And this is all brand new. So I understand everybody here having their thoughts about it. Literally, this is just happening today in the last few hours. I think they just called court like what?
4:50.
You know what I'm saying?
Eastern,
like 3 hours ago. So and then stuff has to take time to get out. So we're digesting this in as real time as we can. And man, it's an interesting one, Black. It's interesting, and I don't know. I don't know if the world is going to perceive Cassie the same. And like I said before, it's going to be a really tough job for these jurors, man. To the morality and legality of everything,
As somebody who was on the jury in October, remember I
Uh-huh.
did do jury duty for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that you are instructed before trial and
Mm-hmm.
after trial
It's all
and
good, boss.
before you deliberate
Mm-hmm.
and during deliberation by the judge that you have to not try to judge somebody based on your personal feelings about all this extraneous shit and only at the merits of the law, right? So if you find somebody guilty of racketeering, there's a
Mm-hmm.
definition of racketeering, and you got to say, I think that they met that definition of racketeering,
Right.
right? So it's not freak boy shit. It's not he beat Cassidy, so that's why it was sex trafficking. None of that shit has nothing to do with it. You have to say that they met the definition of the actual law that you're trying to find them guilty of. You have to show me racketeering, show me interstate sex trafficking, because you go on the back page and hiring somebody who is selling their penis. Is not you trafficking them. The only trafficking that could be done by Diddy in this scenario is with Cassie, except for the fact that she came and went on her own volition. So there is no trafficking when she shows up in a town car, gets nasty, and then says, I want to leave. He beats her, but then she still gets up and leaves. There's no trafficking. She came there on her own. She left. She came every week for 10 years. For 10 people, not one time. For 10 fucking years. She showed up, did it for 3 days. She said, I would go home and recover. What? Shit, her words. I would do it, and then I would go home and recover. The fuck?
Hey, Bunky, it is all good. That case is rough. The details coming out are so troublesome. Black, I don't know how I could not have created a judgment if I was a juror. Right? I'm telling you, Bunk. I think you're in a tough spot because, like, you probably want to damn him for the moral stuff, but
What's
like,
immoral about having nasty sex? Because if he's on trial for beating her, then yes, hang him. But he's not.
No, I think the morality of it comes into play when you're saying, she's 20 years old and
She was 21 when they started.
You're gonna groom this young adult into what you want.
She was 21 when it started.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. You're a powerful, experienced individual in Puffy. You know what I'm saying? And
she's a grown woman.
She is, but she's still wet behind the ears. And we've had this conversation before on the thing where you're telling me that 21 years old, you're still like a little baby. I think so, but it's not a crime. Right. It's not a crime. I know. But she, that part of it, bro, that's where the morality of it, I think, comes into play. And also, like, I think, like, you could decipher that many different ways. And you could look at it from a different way and say somebody might be such a straight edge when it comes to sex and procreation, right? They call it procreation. I procreated with my wife. Might hear the shit that is being done and the freaky shit and just bug out and want to be like, no, he's definitely guilty because how the fuck could you do that shit? You know what I mean? Like, I could see that being a person who's very straight edge wanting to just throw the book at him because they can't even stand what he likes sexually. I can see
that. But they have to reach consensus.
Right.
Because this is a capital. Right. So if 12 niggas bug out, here's the funny thing. He's going to appeal. Any reasonable judge, if let's just say he was found guilty of all 5 counts, like unanimously, He's gonna appeal, and if he's smart, he says, "I don't want a jury. I want just a judge," which is your right as a person on trial.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I bet you a judge knows how to apply the law.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the best testimony they got,
Mm-hmm.
ain't no crime in none of this.
Well, that's what Rock is saying. He said right now they're painting the picture. Later, the big witnesses have to come out. If not, this was a witch hunt.
It's got to be Jane Doe. If she don't say, she got to say something super damning, or they got some video evidence of like literally somebody locked up somewhere, chained up somewhere, being depraved for this to stick. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
And Bunky's perspective is it's not a crime, but it should be. He was in complete control, power, money. I mean,
well, he wasn't though. Hold up, see, that's that Bunky. I love you. That's that personal bias. We're talking about testimony that's come out in the court the last 2 days, and when you talk about Cassie saying herself, if I was gonna keep doing this, I wanted to control who I was doing it with. So she started getting her own escorts, paying her own dudes, and then directing them while they had intercourse. And all Diddy did was watch and say more baby oil. I'm sorry, that's not somebody who's rich and powerful forcing you to do anything. That is you trying to please this man. It's still dumb, but that's not a crime. You going out and getting escorts and having sex in front of your boyfriend with him is essentially what this is. And we got to move the Diddy mystique away from the testimony. Gabe, if I was dating a girl and she went and found a nigga on the street and brought him to my house right now and paid him $6,000 and said, my man gonna watch us have sex.
Right.
I didn't do shit wrong. Right. I'm sorry. Nothing. That's what Cassie said she did. Her own words. She did that.
No, I know, and it's very early, Shad. You're right when you say that. This is going to be at least 2 months, like you say, if not more. I can see this easily going more. But Bunky says, I know. She said that, but it was all because she loved him. Black,
Love ain't all right. So how's that a crime?
People do it all the time in hopes of keeping a partner. He's still gross. And that's Bunky. Sure. What I'm right there.
He gross. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That part right there is when I'm talking about the morality and legality of the jurors. It's that part. That's that sentiment right there. That's it. Thank you for saying that, because you're who I'm talking about. Imagine somebody just like Bunky sitting in that juror section. You know what I'm saying?
I think when you got to make consensus or sit in that room, I think you may feel that way, but I think people will start talking about what the actual charter of a juror is and what you should be doing. And you think it's somebody gross or immoral, or there's a power imbalance when it's somebody over 21 choosing to commiserate with them, you're not going to win. And if it's just you voting yes and everybody's voting no, nothing changes anyway. You must have consensus, and you're not going to get it with this testimony.
Shot. You want me to send you the link, Shot? I'll send you the link.
What Shot? What you want? What you want?
He said it's not in the transcript, Black.
What are you talking about? I can read this shit to you right now.
I hope they would disqualify me. I hear you, Bunky. Illegal cuckold. Yeah. I am not gross. My sexual appetite is business. Hey.
Look, I'm gonna pull this up. Whatever you're doing. I'm gonna pull this up right now. It's a lot too. I'm going right to where she was talking. Here's some highlights. Prosecution. While you and Cassie was having sex for hours, she took the lead? No. He's talking to an escort. You took the lead? No. We were equally doing our thing. There wasn't a leader. So you decided together. Yes, me and Cassie decided what we did together during intercourse. What was Sean doing? Watching in the corner. Did he direct you? Nah, not really. He just would say move or faster or add more baby oil. So what you did with Cassie was up to you and Cassie? Yes. Every time? Yes. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? That's right from the fucking court. That's right here. What are we talking about? She paid you with a credit card? No, she had cash. Every time you came? Yes, she had cash. How much was she paying you per interaction? $4,000 to $6,000. How much were you making normally? $200 to $300. Why'd you keep going back if you didn't like what was happening? I didn't have a problem with what was happening. This is the escort. So where'd they find you? Back page. Did you know who they were? Not initially. They had on masks when I came in the room, but the minute I heard them say something, I knew it was Puffy. And what was she wearing? A mask. Were you forced to penetrate her? No. Well, what happened? She asked me to pee in her mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I saw. That's my
Son, what do
opinion.
we son?
This dude loves baby oil. She shout out to you guys.
I'm 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 good. What
You
we
done
doing,
with
bro?
this? Oh
I
man.
mean, from my perspective, listen, I'm not. It sounds like I'm caping for the nigga. I'm not caping, but I'm really big on like. Here's my opinion as black. All right, and then you can take the show where you got to take it, bro. I believe that Diddy groomed her at a young age. I believe at 2021, when you are exposed to a nigga with this kind of influence, money, power, fame,
Mm-hmm.
right? That it's intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he came up to you and kissed you at 21 after your birthday. He gave you the bag. He signed you to a record deal, and you might have thought he was attractive, but you wanted that lifestyle by your own admission. I also believe that he introduced you to some fuckboy, freak boy shit, and maybe the first time you did it, you was like, "Yo, let me try it because I want to make this nigga happy," and you
Right.
didn't like it, and
Right.
then you made a choice, her own admission. You made a choice at the first time. If this is how it's gonna be, at the very least, I want to control what's happening. So then she took ownership of the shit that she said she didn't want to do
Mm-hmm.
to keep doing it, and by her own testimony, because I didn't want him to leave me and do all this shit with somebody else.
Right.
That's her testimony. So our opinion doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm good. What's up, Shot?
What's
Rec boy
happening,
shot
guys?
in the building.
What's good? Goody.
Chilling, man. We love you,
What's
man.
I said a whole lot, bro. Did I say something that don't make sense?
Nah. See, you taking it wrong. What I'm saying is, it's a whole thing, Black. You know
Talk
that
about it.
it's pieces. They're just getting a pattern set. The It's rough. This is a rough. This is not as cut as dry as people would want it to be. You know, because it was built up so much with the civil suits and everything. People really wanted to really be about something like something that could just, something bigger than OJ.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's I don't know, man. I don't know, man. What I seen, what I read, I got a guy who's in there, whatever the case may be, and he wasn't typing as fast as I needed him to type. No. I'm just keeping it
Look,
a
I'm
buck.
doing the same shit. I'm doing the
No,
same shit. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and but the stuff that he put in, and I don't know, I can just being there, and oh man, it's tough, dude. I don't no. I think Puff is in trouble, man.
With
I
what
would,
though? Because he's only charged with these 5 things, and none of them are things that they've
all
even
right,
brought
all
up
right,
yet.
all right, all right. So okay, just for instance, we're gonna talk about the little tape that got put out.
He's
The
Mm-hmm.
not in charge
CNN.
for anything in that tape, by the way.
Absolutely, they're not
All
using
right,
it for that. They're
all
just
right.
using that to corroborate her
That
story,
he's
where she said, "No, hold on," because in
good.
her testimony she said, we were in between sessions,
Correct.
freak offs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I wanted to leave because the AUSA asked her, "Yo, was there ever a time that you wanted to leave where you
Hmm.
didn't finish the freak off, where you just got up and was like, nah, yeah, it was this date, boom, boom, boom. I know it because I had the premiere, whatever. I had to do a whole bunch of press, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
I bet I'm gonna play the video. That with the context of yo, I wanted to leave, and then they said this is what transpired next, to where she's saying, yo, at that point I said no, I was done. I went to leave, like everybody is asking, if you wanted to leave, why didn't you leave?
But mind you, you gotta have the context, right? That this is 10 years into a relationship. So this is
Okay,
not this
okay,
one
okay,
off. This is not the
okay, no,
first day. This is 10 years.
oh, I'm
Bet.
just talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
situation,
yeah.
what the picture that they're painting.
So
Maybe I
so
fell for the picture, but I'm just telling you the picture that they're painting for me right now is you
she
telling
wanted to
me.
leave that day.
Yeah, she said no. She said no. As she went through all of the freak offs, they were going through them all in the transcripts. Yeah, this happened over here. Where did you have him at? Yo, we had him at over here. What did you have? Boom, boom, boom,
I
boom.
read them.
No,
At no
all right.
point, bro. At no point did she ever say I wanted to leave the situation
No, the
during an
AUSA.
encounter. Hold on.
Okay,
During
go
an
ahead.
encounter, the only time she said she didn't want to do the things, but it was always after the fact. Like
No,
I didn't like being peed on. It's not. She didn't say don't pee on me. As an example, she
no,
said
no, no,
after it happened,
absolutely.
it's not real. I really want it. Who wants
Yeah,
to get peed on? But
yeah,
that's not the
no.
same thing as allowing somebody to
But
do it and then having regret.
at this point, when in the questioning, she asked her. He said, "Did was there ever a time where you said
Right.
you didn't want to do it?"
Between
Yes.
sessions
Okay.
at that
No, no, no.
hotel.
And she
Yeah.
said yes. Okay. What happened when you decided to leave?
She made it to the elevator.
Right. So
He
hold
can't.
on. No,
Yeah.
no. Before she even asked her that, well, she asked her that, and then she played the video.
Right.
So
I get
now
that.
at that point, in between the session, so the session is still going. We established that it was
Yeah.
in between the session. She decided halfway through the session, I don't want in no more.
Got
So
it.
she decides to leave. So what he decides to do is run down the hallway, pull her back in to a
Nope.
session.
Nope. That's not what happened. See, you add in the sauce. Hold on. He was going to get the phone from her. So what he did was he grabbed her by the hair and slammed her on the ground, kicked her a few times, and he got the phone and then he went and sat down. This is his testimony and security's testimony and backed up by the footage. He didn't drag her back into the room. He put
No,
her
you
on the
got
ground
you
to take her
absolutely
phone and then he sat on a chair and threw shit at her.
got you. You right. No, okay. No, no, no. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Another
So,
point.
yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Mhm.
Another point. The tape. Did he bought the hard drive? Do you remember? He bought the hard drive for 50K.
He said 100. They said 100K in testimony. That's what the
All
security
right,
guard
all right,
said.
all right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
But he bought the so if he bought the hard drive which had the video, Cassie put out the video. That's
Correct.
what you said. So then that means he must have gave her the video.
No, they explained all that away. So the security guard said that the one who
He
answered
took
the
it with the
call,
phone.
he
Yeah,
took it with the phone, and
yeah.
that's the copy that Cassie had. She had the
Got you.
phone copy from that guy. So she went and got it and was using it to blackmail Diddy.
Got you.
And that the only reason why he paid for the tapes, the hard drive tapes, because he didn't want to be embarrassed. This is two celebrities, right, doing the most in the hallway, and they didn't want to be embarrassed, so they paid for it. Now, the crime that they would have covered up by paying for the tape is assault. That's the only crime that's on the actual camera. So yes, you are covering up a crime, but he's not charged with covering up the assault. There's no assault charge or conspiracy to fucking block an investigation. So that tape in and of itself, while they may be trying to paint a picture of him as a freaky boy with violent tendencies, he's not in trial for anything in that tape. And she's not saying that she tried to leave a sex interaction. He drug her back and forced her to go again.
Oh, no, no, no. You're absolutely right. No, no. I'm just telling you with the context of what they're doing with the tape. Not
Facts,
only
facts.
that, but this goes into the bigger, like you said, he's not charged with none of this shit.
Right.
No.
And they're not wasting their time to get a conviction on none of that shit because he's not charged with none of that shit. They're bringing this to the jury to show a pattern of a criminal activity, RICO, where enterprise, where soon they're going to bring in who was compliant. So I mean, it's a long
So
ways,
My
homie.
question is though, bro,
Right.
compliant of what? See, like buying baby oil and buying hotel rooms and paying male escorts who say that they willingly showed up is not sex trafficking. It
No, no, no,
ain't.
no, 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 no. You're right. That no, you might
So
he
where's
might
the
be the
RICO
sex
part?
track because they're doing it for a criminal enterprise. They're
But
each one as its own is not a crime. But
correct.
when you look at it collectively, and then why are you doing this? Now check it out. I
Yeah.
can go, right? I can go, us three, we're gonna hit something. I go get the rope and the shovel, right? Buying the rope and the shovel is not the crime.
I get that. But what you do with the rope and the shovel is the crime.
And
He
no,
didn't
no, no.
do
But
nothing with
it's
the
a bigger part. Even if Gabe kills the guy, and I'm not even
so
there, but
hold
I
up.
bought the
But
rope
bro,
and
there,
shovel,
in
knowing
your
what was going to
example,
happen.
there
Go
is a
ahead.
murder involved. So there's an end game. There's a murder. There's an actual crime that takes place.
Or
What's the crime? Hold on. What's the
okay.
crime that Bad Boy Records did? What's the ultimate crime?
Oh
Because they're
no, no,
trying
they
to
probably
say
gonna get to that.
they're
They didn't get
trying
to
to
that
say that
yet.
it's sex trafficking.
No, that's just
That's
one charge.
no. I get the other charges, but the other it's the interstate sex trafficking. That's what the racketeering charge is.
Okay, and what's the other two? It's five charges. They had a superseding indictment.
Correct. Using money, paying for escorts. What does it say? By coercing, forcing sex acts with for prostitution or some shit like that. What's it say, Gabe? What's the actual
Uh,
wording?
it's the transportation for prostitution
Right, right.
and
Which
sex trafficking by
and sex
force.
trafficking
Yep.
by force or coercion, which is what
Yep.
they're saying, coercion.
Yep.
And then the racketeering, which is that Bad Boy Records did all that shit.
Right.
And
And then they added 2 more, right?
No,
well,
there's
they,
five.
They
There's
had
five total.
There's 5 total.
There's 5 total, but it's 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2
Right.
counts of transportation for prostitution, and 1 count of racketeering.
so
That's
the
how-
umbrella charge is the racketeering, and the subcharges is that you were doing sex crimes using Bad Boy Records to fund that and facilitate that. And what I'm saying is, where's the sex crime when you're not the one posting the prostitutes? Because see, they're trying to use the RICO angle, but it doesn't make sense.
Right
You're
here.
not the one posting prostitutes. You're going to pay them.
Mhm.
You're paying them when they show up. You're not going to pick them up from Hunts Point. They're showing up at the telly, and you're giving them a bag. The only person that could be sex trafficked so far in this testimony is Cassie, except for the fact that she showed up on her own every
Volunteered.
week
Yeah,
willingly.
she was going. She took the trips.
So unless Jane Doe shows up and says they had me in the dungeon in Tallahassee, Florida,
Drugged
and
up.
flew me out to New York,
Right.
drugged up, and
Yeah.
flew me to New York on a
Yeah.
PJ,
Then he's guilty. of
Then
all
he's
that
guilty.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
here the
I mean, so
racketeering-
far, sorry, Rock, but yo, listen, so far, it ain't. We're 3 days in, and it's on the docket for 2 months. Calm down, homie. You want to set him free already? We 3 days in, my guy. Calm
Listen,
down.
listen.
It has to make sense.
The racketeering conspiracy, this count accuses Combs of leading a criminal enterprise that engaged in the pattern of illegal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, and other offenses like kidnapping and bribery.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, are they trying to show the kidnapping part of that?
That's
Nah,
got to be
'cause she
Jane Doe.
wasn't
You know?
Yeah, it's got to be Jane Doe.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah,
is that why
because
they
he
showed
didn't
that
kidnap-
footage though?
Nah,
The-
nah.
The,
Because
the
like Black
footage of
pointed out,
Cassie, the one thing you can say there is that he kidnapped her.
no, he didn't kidnap her.
He didn't. She came up in an SUV
yeah.
and left in the SUV with a
Yeah,
driver.
and like Black pointed out, she left on her own. And not only that, dude said not to call the cops. So,
Yeah,
so the
she
dude, the
said
first
that.
dude, yeah, she said that to the dude.
Yeah.
The first dude, first witness is chuck him out the window because he did nothing. No. He did nothing but made himself look like a fool. Like, I don't know if he got maybe he got Vlad lined up next or whatever. But yeah, like
he
that.
got some bullshit going.
No, I'm just saying no, because it just made it seem like he just wanted to be part of something. Because
Yeah.
he made himself look like a fool because he wasn't concerned about her.
Nope.
You get what I'm saying? And then the video and that was the whole thing too. In the beginning, they said, yo, release the real video. Don't release,
The edited one.
which was the one that was taken off the phone, like Black said.
Right.
I believe that they're painting a pattern, and it's got to come back all to the scheme of things. They got a record producer who's slated to testify. They said the one chick, I think the second baby mom's the one that was on. She did some talk show and was talking crazy. I guess she dipped, took off, but I don't know, man.
So Shad, let me ask you before I get you up out of here.
Go ahead.
So basically, you feel like they're just building the case, right? Because it's early enough in the process to just assume you guys are just building a case up and heading in a direction, right? So in your heart of hearts, brother, you think he's getting convicted or no?
Nah, they're gonna convict him on something.
You think he's gonna eat one of these charges?
Yeah, I believe he's gonna eat one of these charges. I don't think Diddy's gonna die in jail though. Diddy got pardon money. The big guy that's in the house, he understands the situation. He's been run through the ringer by some salacious accusation. He's actually been found guilty.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's guilty of the shit. Actually,
32 times.
But they're buddies though. They
Right.
go way back before the presidency, so he can really understand. Where somebody getting the wrong deal. I think, me personally,
You right, Brock.
I don't believe Cassie is their super duper star witness.
Mhm.
I think they're bringing brought her in to get them emotionally strong.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're still dealing with humans.
Yeah,
still
not
dealing
only
with
that,
humans.
but how they ended it today. Like, everything is strategic. And believe it or not, man, the magistrate works for the government. So you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
at a certain point in time, it's Puff, but Puff got a nice team, dude. He has a
He
listen.
does. He
They
does.
gonna dance. They
He
gonna
does.
dance, dude.
Here's what I'm gonna say, bro. We've seen a lot of cases over the years, a lot of high profile
Mm-hmm.
trials.
Yeah.
You don't start a trial by spending the first 2 days talking about somebody's freaks and kinks. At some point, you got to tell me what the crime was,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at no point have they said, where's the kidnapping? If you charge with having an organization that's kidnapping, sex trafficking, all this other freaky criminal shit, not freaky, criminal shit,
Mm-hmm.
then why don't you show me examples of those things happening? Why are you spending 2 days trying to tell me about what kind of baby oil consumption they had? You feel me? Like, where's the
Nah,
kidnapping?
they're building the case
Right.
on
I
the
get, I get,
character.
I get, I get the character part of it, but they haven't said a crime yet. And I gotta believe that I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school.
Right.
These people are not stupid.
Right.
They
We're not
know they
here because
spent
there's
right.
nothing. Right.
We know that they didn't spend 2 fucking days trying to
Right.
paint you as a freaky nigga with a temper if
Exactly.
you're not trying to say something's gonna come of that. So I agree
Correct.
with you, bro. Like
Yeah.
at some point, somebody gotta come out and say where the crime is.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying before. If it ain't Jane Doe, because all them other niggas is washed. I think the person that's identity they're protecting is a person that's gonna connect it all to saying I was
Right,
14 in the
right.
dungeon somewhere. If they don't got that, this is the dumbest shit ever. And if I'm Puffy when I get out, because he's getting off, I'm suing. And I'm gonna own New York State.
Mm. Yo, Wreck Boy Shot, before you get out of here, can you please tell the people where they can find you
Shit.
tomorrow, please?
You already know what it is. It's your boy DJ Wreck Boy Shad, one half of the mighty Wreck Boys. That's right. You can tap into us each and every Wednesday night, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, 7 p.m. Except for tomorrow.
Oh,
The homie is on break.
okay.
Yeah, my son is vacationing. Black fucking got to him. Black
Yo.
got to him.
Go, Chris.
Yeah, no, Black got to him. Chris, yo, listen, I tell you, every time I speak to Chris,
Uh,
it's another step further to another vacation spot.
Yeah,
That's
Every
good
what's
for
up.
time,
him. Good for him,
every
though, man.
time,
He
That's
every
needs
what's up.
that.
time.
He works
Yeah,
hard, man. He works hard. He up
absolutely.
early. He up early.
Absolutely. Yo,
You
listen,
know,
you guys work hard. Listen, keep doing your thing.
appreciate you.
Black,
Yeah.
we gonna swing back and like give us like 3 weeks. Let's get some
I
more.
know. This is a
more
ongoing conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. Let's get some more testimony. Yo, listen, I love you guys, and I'm gonna
Yo,
be tuned in. All right,
peace.
easy.
Love you
Easy.
too, brother. One. All right. So, yo, that was 76 minutes of Diddy. I'm
Cool.
Diddy'd out right now.
You got 2 good
But
months of this.
listen, I know. Listen, couple of things I just got to say before we get out of here. Number one, I told y'all there's a battle rap event going down in Brooklyn at the end of May, the 31st. And I know a couple of these battle rappers and stuff. So I'm actually going to be on IG later tonight doing an interview with Remedy Loco tonight. Then we got Theory Truth coming through. I got Hussein coming through later this week. So check me out on IG tonight and for the rest of the week, basically at 9 o'clock. But yo, I would be remiss if I didn't mention
3-1.
3-1, bro. Come on, son.
3-1.
Come on, son.
Big Knicks, Big
Come on,
Jalen
man.
Brunson,
Come on, man.
Big Mitchell Robinson.
Listen. That was an incredible performance by Jalen Brunson in that third quarter, man. That was brilliant. They showed some heart. They showed like some real heart in this series, man. There was a lot of times that they could have just packed it in, bro, and they just won't. Won't.
Before I take my victory lap, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna say how I'm not a hater. Jason Tatum was fucking cooking.
Yeah,
that nigga was hitting
his
from
step
every
back
angle.
Crazy, bro.
Cooking 43 before he blew the Achilles out.
I know.
So I'm gonna say this. We had
Don't
game
shit
3
on
in the
my
bag.
Knicks right now.
It was like a minute left in the game, 2 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
it was
say,
over. We was gonna win anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like even with JT, they wasn't gonna win 3 straight against us. Let me just say that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate that you tear your Achilles because everything that we hear, it's the toughest injury to come back from, and you never the same. Yeah. And that boy is 27, 28. That really sucks for him. He's out for a year minimum. That sucks for them. Mm-hmm. Cool. But he had a phenomenal. He did. Watching what he was doing, the pull-ups, where he was hitting from, phenomenal fucking game. That nigga was cooking. Now, Big JB, player of the year. 39-12.
Yo, how about my boy Bridges though? How about Cat going 11 for 12 from the field? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, bro, come on. You know, like
How about OG waking up?
I was gonna say, how about OG? Like, yo, this is why I'm here though.
That
You
nigga
know what I'm
defense,
saying?
bro, is ridiculous. He
No,
not, you know what it is? It's because he's not a shutdown, lock him up type. He's not Bruce Bowen. He
right.
just does everything.
Right, but yo, you gotta love Bridges in the clutch in the fourth quarter with his defense, man. He is all over the place, man.
He's all over the place.
I don't know if people are realizing he's averaging 3 steals a game, and the 3 steals are coming in the fourth quarter or a third quarter or later. That's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Josh Hart doing his thing.
Big
You
hustle.
know, I wish he was a more true of a shooter because he be having some looks and he gives them up a lot. You know what I
Sure.
mean? He
But he
gives
does
up.
everything else.
He does.
I call him Mr. Hustle.
He needs to be our sixth man. If Josh Hart was our sixth man, I think we go on a little run here for a couple seasons,
I
being
don't
in the
think so.
playoffs, going
Dude,
deep.
with our current roster,
Mhm.
it makes sense because he's the one non-run a play for person in the starting five.
Right, right,
So he actually makes sense.
right. No, I know.
And he's
He plays his
probably
part.
the second best rebounder on the team behind Mitch.
If he's not, he just knows where to be. He got a nose for the ball.
Well, he's been known for like 4 years. So at this
Yeah.
point, I think he's the second best rebounder on the team
Yeah.
behind Mitch.
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, Mitchell Robinson.
It's
How many
balling.
offensive rebounds can you get in 8 minutes a game?
I
That
know.
nigga be
I
doing
know.
all hustle, no
yo,
shot.
God
Yeah.
bless him for having those soft hands by the
All right, pause.
for him having the hands by the basket though, when he be getting them little lobs and them little putbacks, man. He's nice with that, bro. He don't really miss them putbacks.
Big Knicks. You watching the game tomorrow?
Hell yeah, I'm
We
watching.
going to the
game,
spot. We going to the spot. We gonna blow down some shit. We gonna have a couple of drinks.
bro.
Big Knicks 4-1.
Big Knicks. Yo, what a win. What a win of a series that would be. Yo, you know that it was 400-1 to pick the Knicks just to win the series, period.
Yeah.
And
Yo, do you know that Boston is still favorite tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe that.
That's
I would believe
stupid.
Nah, I could believe that. Only because they're going home and they came off the loss. You know what I mean? Like I could see them saying, they're a 3 or 4 point favorite. What's the spread? Did it tell you?
5.5.
Wow, yes. I could see it. I could see it.
Niggas won't give us no respect, is what I'm saying.
Nah, they won't. They won't. But you know what? We haven't even earned it yet. Let us earn it. Let us. You're about to earn this one, and what
Indiana,
about
Cleveland? Yeah,
Right.
Indiana, Cleveland tonight.
Uh-huh.
Indiana gonna close it out. Cleveland half they starting five is like
It's
injured.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah,
they hurt.
Indiana, New York in the Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't see.
What a throwback, though.
We can beat them.
What a throwback. That's a throwback.
Gabe, we can beat them, right?
We could beat them. I will say that there are people out there saying that Indiana is the best playoff team in the playoffs right now in the East.
They're playing the best. I don't think they have the best personnel. I think they have a really good team.
Mhm.
But I think Halliburton is streaky. He always has been. That nigga will give you 8 points every 3 games. Like he's like that. You can't do that against Jalen Brunson. You can't do that against Jalen Brunson. My point being though is if we get Indiana and New York, which I think we're gonna get,
I would rock. Yes, I would go to that.
I got Knicks in 6. I actually think that with Tatum going down and us being up 3-1, I think we go into the finals. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think that the championship comes down to this Denver OKC series, which I said would be the best in the playoffs. That's going to decide if we can get a chip or not. Because I actually think we'll beat OKC. I don't think we'll beat Denver. The way we match up with them, I think we'll beat OKC though.
Denver would be. I mean, hey, everybody said the same thing about the Celtics though.
Sure, but like, bruh, Cat can't do shit with Jokic.
Nobody can. Nobody
He don't go for 70 on us, nigga. 70, 30, and 12. Nasty work.
He's ridiculous. He's a hell of a ball player, man.
But I also thought that OKC could beat Denver. I like that matchup too. So I think if the Thunder beat Denver, which is 2-2 right now, and they make it, I don't think we can beat OKC. I don't like the matchup. If Denver wins and they come out of the West, I actually think we have a chance against Denver. Yeah.
But you think we could?
I'm sorry. I'm saying that backwards.
Other way around. Yeah, I was gonna say the other way around.
OKC. I don't think we can beat Denver. I think we can beat OKC, even though they're monsters right now.
Right. You going to the locks? They're gonna be in our area. Rock says soon.
Yeah, yo, Rocky. You know my birthday coming up, right? Go ahead.
Your birthday's like 11 months away.
It's September though. Don't hate. Yo, Rocky. Go ahead, send me them texts, bro.
You jinxing your team. I'm not jinxing shit.
Nah, big Knicks. Big Knicks.
It's just been so long since we've been able to talk like this.
25 years.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it's been 25 years, nigga.
You know, and I was a little numb to the fact that, you know, this is actually our third time in a row making it to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I kind of slept on that a little bit.
Since the JB experience kicked off, we've been second round in it. It's time to take that next step.
Yeah, I would love that, man. Oh man. Shout out to Lady Miz. I was out at her spot on Sunday and did her show, the From the Ground Up Creators Box. She is straight up creating Rap City in her basement, bro. And she asked about you when I got there, and I was like, you know, let them know, because she was asking me. She's like, yo, I feel bad that I didn't tell Black to come. Da, da, da. And I'm like, yo, do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would be dope. I want to tell you the reason why I'm telling you to do it is because after all this time and all the people who have asked and all the opportunities, she got a KO verse on tape. She caught a 20-year-old KO verse on a KRS-One beat, recorded that. I signed the door and everything. I need King Blackout to go up there talking shit about Six Borough and otherwise.
Came out of retirement for Lady Miz?
For Lady Miz, I did a verse. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even text her. I was like, yo, I still can't believe you got me to go in that booth and spit that verse like that. I still can't. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lady Miz.
Did you also get a recording of the verse?
I don't have a recording of the verse. No.
All right, have her send it. Mm-hmm. I want to know what Angie thinks.
Yeah, Angie heard that verse at least a million zillion times. she knows the words to that verse. You heard
Angie,
me?
is it lit or not?
That's one of my only lit verses. That's why I went to.
Rock said he getting tickets. He going to the concert. Yo, Rocky, dead ass. So like, all right, listen, because niggas be capping is like the truest shit in this area.
That's a big step.
It took me like 4 years to get Gabe to come outside and do anything fun. All right. So when we went to Hip Hop 50, I was pleasantly surprised that he came outside and actually went away from Newburgh and Beacon to come do some shit. All right. Niggas be capping. Rocky, if you go into the Lox concert, send me the dates, set it up. I will pull up to the Lox concert.
Where are they going?
They at the Civic Center. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can't sell at the Barclays.
No, they come to our area, he's saying.
Right. I'm just saying that they can't sell at the Barclays.
Oh, yeah. So that's the Neshawat Center. I'm sorry.
It's the fucking Civic Center.
Hey, God damn it.
Look. It's the fucking Tap NC. It's the Tap, nigga. The
Word.
No goddamn FOMO.
Word. I still call it the Tap and Z. I still
fucking
do.
Tap.
It's a fact.
Look, every Christmas is them same fucking Tap and Z lights. Fuck out of here.
It's true. It's true. Unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like the new Fat Joe and Jada podcast.
I don't think that's as unpopular as you think. That shit was kind of ass, and it's edited, and it's even edited ass.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I like Fat Joe, I like Jada, but you know, I feel like Fat Joe's a little oversaturated. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of everywhere. He does a lot of interviews. You know what I'm saying?
His COVID-19 little podcast was popping.
Yeah, when he was doing it from home and all that shit was dope. And he was telling the stories and all that. But you know, I think maybe I'm just getting tired of the Fat Joe stories and hearing, because he's starting to repeat himself. You know what I'm saying? He's starting to repeat himself.
We talked about podding is a new rapping. I believe that.
Yeah.
Everybody could talk to him, Mike. I believe that.
Yeah.
But like, I actually feel like finally niggas is like, I'm tired. Like the saturation is crazy. All these niggas with built-in fan bases who just want to talk to and shit like that. Yeah. We only got so much attention to give, bro. Like, I'm not watching fucking Budden and Rory and Club Shay Shay and fucking Brandon Jennings, right? And fucking Joe and Jada. Like, I'm not. Who the fuck got time to listen to 80,000 and fucking 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Mello? Like, and Jimmy and fucking and Cam and goddamn Mace. Like, who the fuck got time to get pussy when you listening to pods all day?
Yeah, no, I know.
It's too much, bro. I'm good. I don't need another podcast. I'm fucking good. I'm good.
let me get your elevator talk out, and I'll give you my opinion too. But what's your elevator speech on if somebody says to you or asks you, did racism play a part in the Shador Sanders drop to the 5th round in the draft this year?
No,
No.
no. This is once, bro. The number one pick was black. Like, let's
Hmm.
stop.
Right. That's
No,
where I was gonna go with it. I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
how?
dumb. That's a dumbass take.
It was
Do
spreading
I
like
think
wildfire though.
you could call it that it has racial undertones, but it's mostly about a nigga being so cocky and being a nigga. So it's
Word.
not about you being black. It's about you being black and super cocky.
Right.
So the
Right.
black is like the extra sauce on it.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
extreme cockiness mixed with the black. That's the problem. But
Yeah.
if you wasn't cocky, you being black wouldn't matter. So
Right.
I don't look at it as a black issue. I look at it as a personality one.
Mm.
Not a black one.
Have you peeped him play? Like, have you seen him play enough to give an
Of
opinion or
course.
no?
Of
So,
course.
is he nice with it or no?
He's
What
good.
your perspective?
He's good.
He's good.
Cam Ward has a much stronger arm. Cam Ward arm is like, do you remember Jamarcus Russell arm?
Hell yeah.
When he was doing those pro days and shit
Biggest
like that,
flop
throwing
of
70, 80
Raiders
yards,
history. Yeah.
flat footed,
Yeah.
no accuracy, terrible everything else, terrible conditioning. The nigga was 320
Terrible.
pounds
Yeah.
playing quarterback.
Yeah,
All right.
his mental was not right. Yeah.
But his arm was a fucking bazooka.
Yeah.
All right.
It was. Yeah.
Cam Ward got a fucking rifle on his arm.
Yeah.
He's not as accurate as Shador, but that's based on the tape. There are people saying that if you wasn't throwing to miss the number 2 pick, right?
Mm.
That a lot of those throws would have been out of the reach of your receivers.
Mm.
So he's good. But he doesn't do anything great.
Mm.
He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the most accurate pass I've ever seen.
Right.
He's not the fastest runner. He's
Right.
5'11", right?
Mhm.
That does matter.
It
Right?
does. It does.
Drew Brees and Russell Wilson are the exceptions, not the rule, for a reason.
Correct.
All right. So like I think he's a good quarterback. I do not think he should have been anywhere in the top 10 in a normal draft with other
Right.
quarterbacks.
Right.
In this draft, he probably was the 3rd best quarterback. Honestly, to me, he's probably 3rd. I watched Tyler Shough play, who got drafted in the back in the 1st round.
Mhm.
He can play.
The kid Dart is nice too, though.
I also think Jackson Dart isn't bad, but I would have took Shador over him.
You would have?
I
If
would've.
you're the Giants?
If I'm the Giants. Because there's an element of also it's a business, right?
Mm.
So you want to win, but it's also business. Shador is box office.
Mm. I think they didn't want to deal with Dion.
They didn't want to deal with Dion.
I think that's what it really comes down to.
So to sum it up, bro, I do think he's a good prospect. I think he probably was a 2nd round pick in a normal quarterback year where you got 2 or 3 strong quarterbacks. He's 4th.
Mhm.
I think this year's class was really, really, really fucking weak.
Mhm.
I think last year he would have went like as the 5th quarterback compared to what they was coming out as.
Yeah, and you never know. Sometimes things happen for a reason, and he might be super talented in there, and things like this might just be the catalyst for him. You never know.
He's Robert Griffin III light.
And
And
I forget about Robert Griffin. I forget about his career. Started off on fire. Let me tell you.
A Pro Bowler. As a rookie of the year. You know what I mean?
He was going to be the next Vic. Remember that?
And then he wasn't.
He was going to be the Vic 2.0 with
how long
accuracy.
he lasted? 6 seasons. That was it. That's crazy.
Yeah, before he got broken. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And his counterpart, his peer Andrew Luck, he didn't last too much longer either. He wasn't anything like. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to get a quarterback, man, that you could have for 10, 15 years. That's why when people were so down on Eli when we had him, I just never understood it, man. I'm like, bro, we got steady Eddie at quarterback. What more do you want, man?
You know what? I think it's a good point, Gabe. I think when people see like top 3 quarterback play, they think every quarterback should be able to do that.
Right.
And the reason them niggas is top 3 is because they better than everybody else.
Right.
But when you got a nigga who's like number 6 or 7, but every year he's that.
Right.
That's all you need.
It.
There's only 3 niggas on the planet doing what Pat Mahomes does at the same time as Pat Mahomes.
Right.
So it's 30 teams, 32 teams. Y'all can't have them. Yeah. Why the fuck would you not like Eli, who's going to keep getting it done? That's what he does. Get it done. Get her done. Here's what I will say, though. Andrew Luck, how gangster is it to get a damn near fully guaranteed contract and then say, now that it's fully guaranteed, I ain't coming back.
No, fuck you.
Yo, gangster shit. How do you sign a $150 million contract, like 142 of it guaranteed, play 1 year and then be like, you know what? Yo, Gabe, you know what?
Yeah. I don't feel like playing no more.
Yo, you see that shit on Netflix? That you know what guy? The white, what's his name? Tim.
Yep.
That funny ass show. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a farm.
Yeah. My head hurts and I ain't doing this no more. That's basically what he said. He said I don't
Pretty
want to risk
much.
you know what I mean? My head hurts and I don't want to do it no
Pretty
more.
fucking much. And he was good, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, Black, man. I'm gonna go chill with wifey and all that good stuff, man. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Today was dominated by the Diddy talk, but hey, it's what's happening, it's what's on our minds right now, and it's entertaining and it's like a little suspenseful because now you're like, what the fuck? You know, like what's next?
I'm at work being so unproductive.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm live. I'm just like, bro, what's happening? Bro, what's happening? Shut up, nigga. I got it. Bro, what's happening? Bro, what's happening? Yeah, real time.
You know?
Yeah.
So but I do appreciate you. I think the people will appreciate the conversation. And we're going to be back again next week. So stay tuned. And shout out to everybody. My man, Brian Stable, listening on all the streaming platforms. You can catch that later on tonight. Black,
yo, did you see the NBA and NBC commercial?
No, what?
With the
No.
You didn't see it?
No, yeah. Either I must keep turning away when the commercial come on.
So is everybody singing that song? You tell me that's damn near as iconic as the Chicago Bulls theme music.
Yeah, no, it is.
And I just realized that's right. The NBC used to have the NBA.
Yeah,
like
big time.
During the Jordan years and shit like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Channel 4.
That music is iconic, bro. I can't wait to hear it come back. Absolutely. And did you hear that Michael Jordan signed on to do some guest commentary on NBA NBC marquee games?
That'd be dope, man. That'd be dope. Shout out to the GOAT of all time. That's for all you LeBron lovers out there.
I just want them to bring back Marv Albert. Whenever you bring back Michael, bring back Marv. Just have him do a game here or there. Yes. And it counts. Like his calls are iconic. The shit that he would say is iconic.
Some of the dopest shit is Marv Albert calling games at the Garden, bro. You crazy? That's like my teenage years, like listening to those games on Saturday, bro. You crazy? Knicks Bulls. Oh, get the fuck out of here, man.
And controlled calls.
You know?
Yes. And it counts. Like he's excited, but he's mad composed.
Big facts. Big facts. All right, party people, we are out of here. I'm gonna leave y'all with a commercial. Shout out to the sponsor. You know what it is. Shout out to All Creek Concrete Placement LLC and House of Barbers. Y'all be good. Y'all be
yo, Gabe. Hold up.
Tell me.
My bad.
Yeah.
Prayers up to Tory Lanez.
Yeah, he got stabbed up. He's in the hospital.
We got 13 stabs, 17, something like that. Mm-hmm. Something fucking crazy. When niggas tried him out in the yard 13 times, whatever the fuck it was, multiple stab wounds. They got him up in intensive care, saying not life threatening, but pretty fucked up. He's pretty fucked up.
So the moral of the story is, do not fuck with Meg Thee Stallion's lawyers. Don't do that,
bro. I'm so torn up about this shit because I really don't think that what he went to jail for, he should be in jail for. Right. I'm not saying he has no culpability, but I don't think he really should be in there.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
So to see you in a place where you probably shouldn't be, and then niggas are trying to end you at the same time,
I know.
That's fucking wild, bro.
But
that's wild.
It lines up and it's too coincidental that he has this run-in with, because he had that civil suit going.
Yeah.
He goes into that meeting with them. He acts belligerent. He's not being cooperative. They have to end the meeting shortly after starting because of the way he's acting. And then all of a sudden, days later, he's all stabbed up. Like, that's crazy to me.
Now that, I'm with you on that conspiracy shit.
That's why I said don't mess with Meg and her lawyers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's true. I'm not being funny. That really happened. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, man. There might be more to this story as it unfolds. But to your point, big prayers and shout outs to Tory Lanez, man. I hope recovery goes well. Sitting in the hospital is never good, no matter what is going on. So all the best to you, and I hope for a speedy recovery.
But he gonna be lit in this next album. Nigga stabbed me 30 times and didn't finish. He gonna be so lit.
He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna go crazy. And he lived. Now you're gonna be able to tell him shit. He's really gonna be Napoleon now, bro. You crazy? He might name the album Napoleon.
I would just name my next album The Stallion. You know what I mean?
The stallion of Napoleon.
Look with a picture of Rocky, but Megan's face AI'd on top of his body.
I'm telling you. But you better watch it if you don't want to end up. I ain't gonna say it.
You're right. My bad, Meg. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
My bad, Meg. I'm sorry.
My bad, Meg. Exactly. Yo, Black, be good, man. Chill with the family. I hope everything is good on your side. We'll talk next week, brother.
Free my nigga Diddy.
Peace. Fellas, if you anything like me, you're super picky about who cuts your hair. And I don't go anywhere else except for House of Barbers. Located right across the street from Marist College on Route 9. Go see Sal and his crew. They will take care of you no matter what your needs are. And they'll even give you hot towel shaves. House of Barbers right there on Route 9, 845-232-5036. House of Barbers. Go make an appointment today or just walk in. House of Barbers.